Welcome to Starley Murray Live with our special guest, Tom Antion, longtime friend, my mentor, and also the mentor for Kitty Bear, for those of you who know our behind the scenes actual real CEO. Welcome, Tom.
Hey, thank you. I just realized I could have invited people on my end. So next time we do this, I'm going to invite a whole load of people. I just invited about 15 more people the last second.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Well, I thought you said we were going to do this weekly.
No, hourly.
Hourly. Oh, you see, you cannot bluff Tom Antion. He is going to one-up you each time. If you try to put him in the hot seat, you know what he does? He sets it on fire.
I'm getting too old to wait for weekly. Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, were you spelling that 𝗹𝗂𝘁𝗲𝗍𝗍𝗃?
No.
Okay.
I was not spelling it.
Guns.
I was not spelling it weekly. I was spelling it weekly. Okay. Yeah, I didn't mean to impress you with my fake sweater muscles. So, oh my gosh. So I love the fact that I am getting to do this Facebook Live when I'm talking about how you can be strong live on television, on podcasts, and on stage, because a lot of people know, I confess, that my behind the scenes, like how to make something live work, has been my nemesis. And right now, I used to say that it was my nemesis. Now I say I'm a tech genius in the making, which is, I don't care how far that goalpost is. It's because I listen to people like you, Tom. If I didn't, then I would just be live on these other platforms and I'd never be in the social world or the internet marketing world. You know, that's always been, you know, a little bit of a hurdle for me. So thank you for helping me.
But this is what keeps you looking like you're 12 years old for the rest of your life. You know, you keep up with stuff. I mean, my whole business has changed since AI came along, and a lot of people know I only use dull edge technology. I don't jump on at the beginning. So I didn't use Facebook that we're on now until they had 1 billion users. All right. So, this keeps you young. Absolutely. Yeah. And it keeps your business right up in front of people. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that what you're talking about, I remember when you first started teaching me internet marketing, and oh my gosh, I think I was in the same boot camp 5 times in a row before I went, aha, because, you know, this is like a lot of your experts that attend your world. They're really good at that thing that they do. And sometimes it just takes a while to get the aha moment in the thing that you're good in, Tom, and or the stuff that I'm good in. It may take a day or a week or longer to get the aha moment.
Well, yeah, and I've been doing this 32 years, pretty much 7 days a week, all right, since the internet started.
Yeah, you started in diapers.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, right. In your diapers. Right.
Yeah. Well, if we keep this Facebook Live going, we'll be in Depends soon.
That's right. But still to this day, I mean, I'm using CapCut. I mean, you may have seen some of my stories with special effects in it, and I'm studying like crazy. It takes me 12 tries to get it right when these young people are doing 60-second tutorials on how to do a special effect that would take me a 30-minute video to figure out, and they're doing them in 60 seconds. So it forces you to keep up. But on this publicity front, Starley, I just hope people realize the value of this stuff. I mean, I've done over 1,000 interviews, and you were instrumental in many of the ones in the last couple of years. And it's meant millions and millions of dollars in free publicity, and has turned into sales. And I coined a quote a long time ago, Starley. I'm not sure you're aware of it. I think you were, because you've been at Butt Camp, and it was hanging up on the wall. I should tell them what Butt Camp is later.
Yeah, please. It's a training. It is not a weight loss thing.
All right, I better tell them that first before I tell them the quote. So Butt Camp, years ago, around 1997, I was already on my way to be a multimillionaire online, and people started begging me to do boot camps. But I came from a comic background with, I had this crazy, practical joke company. And I thought, you know what? Everybody does boot camps. I can't do a boot camp. I mean, that's old hat. So I said, I'm sitting here on my rear end making all this money online. I'll call it butt camp. And it caught on. I've done them in 11 countries around the world, except in London, they made me call it bum camp instead of butt camp.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So-
what I love is you're teaching people how to make money sitting on their buns, because there's a lot of people that are like, I can't travel because of either medical or family situations or budgets. And you've shown people how to earn an incredible living. And I know we're going to be jumping into all of this live stuff, but you have an incredible background, and we should be hanging and talking about that a little bit, because it'll make sense.
Except if there's one thing that came good out of the pandemic, all right, it's the fact that all the major media switched to allowing anybody, big celebrities or any first timer, be on video like we're doing rather than in studio. So you could keep publicity going forever now, both on in live, which you've been beautiful at having me do, and then also on on the airwaves. But anyway, this quotation I came up with that's perfect for people listening to you is that it's the only way to exceed the average fees in an industry for your products and services, or for you personally, is to become better known.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember there was a reality show, like a cosmetic surgery reality show. People were flying in from Saudi Arabia and everything to have that doctor do their work. So was he better than anybody else in Los Angeles? Probably not, but it doesn't make any difference. He was better known. So I'm fully behind what you're doing here. And then I'll show him, I'll talk a little bit about how I've turned it into enormous amounts of money.
Totally. Well, let me give so when you first start Facebook Lives, a lot of times what happens, and those are new for me. I've done thousands of appearances on live television, and because of you, a lot of live stage, and really just in these last several years, live podcasts. And I've got to say that doing the lives for me are more fun than clicking all the buttons right before you go live, because tech was always like, thank goodness you taught dull edge technology, which meant tech that's easy for people to learn, that's proven. And so a lot of people have heard me say, oh, we love Tom, and Tom's my friend, Tom's my mentor, oh my gosh. But I want to give just a tiny bit of just the backstory in terms of how some of what you've taught me has affected my world. So being in the live world is great. However, what happened during the pandemic? That's about 8 revenue streams out of 10 that went away for me, or at least went to sleep during the pandemic, because it was live TV, live stage, live podcasts at the news stations live. We had live productions, and the list went on. There were several live things, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have enough preparation for my back end for internet marketing with all of my active funnels and digital products or things such as that. And I know things are changing a lot. There's all kinds of different stuff that you're teaching now that helps to put people in the driver's seat with all this ever changing AI revolution. However, one of the things that I really love about how you teach is you can work with the most advanced influencers or the absolute newest person, because the way you speak is a way that's so easy for anyone to understand on any level. And I used to have such tech fear that my hands would shake or my eyes would water. And Tom, you've seen me, like, I start to shoulders go up, or I just turn into a little bit of a different person. I don't have the same confidence. I get real fearful. And a lot's changed over the years for me. And I credit you for that, because a huge portion of that was a long-term patience and an ongoing training support system. And you don't abandon people. Like, if, they might need an extra day or a month to have their aha moment. And I love doing that for my people too, but I wasn't good at what you did I needed what you did to help me with my part.
Well, that's very kind of you to say so, but it boils down to the fact that I'm just too stupid to understand the technology. I use the technology to make the money. And that's true, because people say, well, you must be a super techie. Well, no, when you sit here for 32 years in front of a computer, yeah, you get a few skills, but I still got Larry. I think you've met Larry,
Yeah.
the tech guy. That
Your team.
he's got like 98 different certifications and stuff. And so just yesterday, I'm saying him and Mark, I'm saying, hey, I need to stream my darn cell phone to the iMac screen. How the heck you do it? And I don't want to try to figure it out, so I let them figure it out. But so you don't have to be a super techie to use what the techies have created for you to make a fortune at, say.
Yeah. Well, you come in all stealth here, like, because you make it so easy for people to learn from you. But reality, I mean, you do have like a lot of great tech knowledge, but you don't like, teach people like from a fire hydrant. You teach them at the level that they can consume comfortably.
You know what I call it? I call it the hope level.
Oh,
just when I teach my professional speakers, I could literally go up in front of an audience, and you've been there a million times to see me do this, but I could just have them all I couldn't do this in a million years. I could do that. I know that much about the internet stuff that I could just blow them away, that they feel they could never do it in a million years.
Yeah.
Well, that's not helping me sell stuff, and that's not helping them to feel intimidated. So I deliver at what I call the hope level, just enough ahead of you so that you feel that you could stretch a little bit and get some success.
Okay.
And then as I'm with you over time in my mentor program, then I make you stretch a little further after you see that, oh yeah, I could do this. So that's what I deliver. And speaking of speaking and clarity, which is what you're all about. And like I said, you've seen me a million times do this. So I watch all the other speakers, and first of all, I got to tell
you taught me that.
I got to tell you, Starley may have stuff to sell you in different packages, okay, but this is offline, in no pressure. You think about it and make a decision. But in the live world, there's pressure. Like a lot of those events she saw me at weren't profitable unless I sold a bunch. All right. And so I sit in the back of the room and I watch all the other speakers, and then I watch the audience, and I see the silver and the gold and the platinum and the super titanium and the diamond package. And I see the audience members looking at each other like, what was that? They're whispering like, what was it? And I'm sitting back there laughing, because then I come in and take all the money, and I haven't been beaten in back of the room sales in 25 years. And I have one deal. All right, take it or leave it. Now, it's not that simple. I mean, throughout the speech that I do, but I got 90 minutes to pull $100,000 to $300,000 to make the whole event for everybody else profitable. All right, so we talk about pressure. So it's got to be clear and simple and straight away. And I believe that's what this thing's all about today.
Well, yeah. So if you guys are listening, everything that we're talking about, most everything, except I throw in some cheesy jokes, and Tom can't resist as well. But I will tell you that it's all about, how do you be clear? How do you be concise? And how do you be effective when you're live? Well, when you've got an OG over here like Tom, who is, can do it in his sleep and makes it look so easy, like, hey, we're just chit-chatting. There's actually, magic going on behind the scenes, because he's delivering this in a way that's comfortable, and it's transparent and authentic and easy for people to understand, like in the Hope method. And you're actually getting trained and having a good time, and you don't feel that pressure.
But I don't want people to get overconfident, okay? And that, I've been an expert for 100 years. I did 800 interviews before Starley got a hold of me and started putting me on television. And she's tearing me up like, what the hell you... she didn't say hell, but I mean, it kind of came across that way. Like, You got to be visual. It's television. What's wrong with you? You got to have graphics and some props and stuff. You can't just run your fat mouth.
I was so nice to you, but I was a little strict because it was hard to be strict to your mentor. But
no, but what did I say? You the boss.
Yeah, you did.
The boss. This is your world. I did most of mine was on airwaves, radio, and podcasts, and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so but you're like this master. You're this master marathon guy on a stage, right? Because you have to have stamina, and you've got like it could be 30 minutes or an hour or 90 minutes.
Yeah, but you got 3 minutes to knock it out of the park, maybe if you're lucky.
You got 3 minutes to do layered messaging. You got an intro and outro, 5 points. You have to sometimes spoon feed the host the questions if they don't have them. You've got teleprompters that should you watch or ignore, and you need to make sure that the audience is feeling your heart, and you don't want to overshadow or underperform with the host. There's a lot of things going on, like every splits of seconds. But you take a master like Tom, and he's in power transitioning between, all right, here's the stage, this much time, and then here's the TV, this much time. But it's a lot of compacted information. I never said what the hell, and I was never mean, but
she was pinching my cheeks like this, or grabbing my ear. Oh, she can't get him now, and pulling me. Says, "Stand here, do this." And
and then I yelled at him.
And then where's your makeup? Look, I don't have makeup.
And then I hit him with the selfie stick. No.
Yeah.
But I can also tell you
she had a stun gun. I think she had a stun gun at one time.
Oh, you saw that? No, I didn't.
I felt that.
Hey, but even what Tom was saying, even though you're a pro in what you do, maybe you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years of expertise. That doesn't mean that you're automatically, that you understand all the nuances of each format of live TV, live stage, live podcasts. And you could master even one of those, but the other two feel a little bit different. And I have to say, it is my veterans like Tom, the influencers, the people who have really honed their craft, they get a little thrown off and a little surprised when I say, hey, I remember we talked about those clothes look great standing, but when you sit down, they look different, like the suit bunches up in the back. And then now you're telling me, like, why didn't you tell me? Or just a whole host of things that are visual that may be just distracting. And these aren't even little image things. Some of these things are big authenticity or trust factor things. I
think she said to me, the old thing about the camera adds 10 pounds to you. She says, how many cameras are on you today? Look at you. You look like there's 15 cameras on you.
No, I did not. Oh my gosh. I hope people are watching and not just listening and not seeing my hands going, no. So, that's another comfortable thing. I have my self-deprecating humor I love to do too. Sometimes we rescue each other and sometimes we throw each other into the fire just because it's fun. But, so some of the things about the live TV that I'd like to talk about is Tom. You look at a lot of, YouTubers or people who are used to just selfie style shooting and then just saying whatever with no game plan, no end result in mind whatsoever, but they're just trying to get comfortable. And then I'm like, great, good on you for trying to get comfortable. But with no game plan whatsoever, a lot of times you just get more of the same. And so there's not an improvement because there's no strategy of how to be on a camera. Then it's like, what's the end result? Are you doing this for branding? Are you doing this to traffic drive? Are you doing this to sell a product? Is there an opt-in of some sort? Well, if you don't know what the end purpose is, it's difficult to have that conversation with the camera. What I'm seeing, Tom, is that a lot of people are being taught to perform in front of the camera instead of being live. And then they go, wow, I kind of doesn't seem authentic. So I'm going to really edit the heck out of myself. Live has no edit. There's very little edit. Like TV, there's some soft edits, but so if you train yourself to stop when you're rehearsing, or you train yourself to overshare with no point, and you're gonna rely on the safety rescue of an edit, you're not gonna do that well on stage, television, or podcasts, because it does need to be. Right now, you and I are shooting the shoot, and it's kind of pretty casual, but we know we're going to cover all the points that were said on the Facebook. And
you are.
No problem.
I'm just here for moral support.
I got you. I know. And thank you for the rabbit's foot and the 𝗺𝗶𝘁𝗲𝗏 blanket. I needed
that. You're still into Hello Kitty?
No.
No, you lie. Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna hope I don't screw up Facebook Live. Here we go. No. No.
I think I bought you some of that stuff. I don't know.
That's the vintage locker.
Yeah,
Actually,
right.
that one up at the very top that has the shoes on. You can't see it. I'm gonna screw up this webcam, and then it's gonna go dead. It'll be like Facebook dead instead of Facebook Live. But yeah, and that's another thing. Authenticity in a live, right? So when I was going on stage, I'm like, wow, this really doesn't translate for me. I'm used to being a sprinter, and it's 3 minutes. A whole lot of things are covered in 3 minutes, and it just didn't translate for me trying to stretch it out to 30 minutes. And it took a while for me to find like my stride, like, oh, okay, what feels comfortable. But I remember one of the things you told me is like, hey, you're just going in there trying to teach the steps, and you don't want to showcase this personalness about you. And I was like, well, they don't want to hear my life story because I'm just used to 3 minutes, right? They don't want to hear a bunch of personal
Yeah, they
things.
do.
I know, but I argued with you. I was like, no, they don't want to hear all that. That's not the me show. It's the them show. And then you like outed me that I liked Hello Kitty. I was like, Tom Antion, my mentor, what did you do? And you told people, and I was horrified. And you know what? People started coming up to me backstage saying, just having personable conversations with me instead of an awkward energy about not knowing, didn't have the icebreaker, and they're like, my daughter loves Hello Kitty, or I thought that was so funny, or so
well, that's one of the reasons I beat everybody at the back of the room. These divas walk in like they're too good for you, and you got to buy my stuff before I got to get on a plane because I'm more important than you. And there was no connection with anybody. I'm a big fat guy sitting at the back just talking to people, and they don't even know who I was till I got on stage. And then there I take home all the money. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm doing it as a ploy. It's
but
just
it's proof.
that authenticity is what you preach. And
Yes.
that's one of the nicest things that people say to me. You're the same guy off stage as you are. We would be having this exact same conversation if you were sitting on my couch like you have before, right across from this podcast station.
100%. You mean the podcast station I try to go mess up and change around and make it look different? Yeah.
Right.
So 100%. We're just ourselves. And when I learned, and you helped me learn that, how to be myself more on stage, I mean, I'll tell you, it was definitely like little wobbly deer legs. It definitely didn't start off like super slick or super strategic, but the authenticity and with a purpose, those two things together were super helpful. So like, just like you were saying, hey, the guy sitting at the back of the room and studying, and we talked about the money. Well, let me just talk to you about the money. First of all, the money is part of the proof that what you teach works. Secondly, you can give more from a full cup than you can an empty cup. And a lot of our authors and speakers who are listening, they do have some challenges when it comes to monetizing because they're so big-hearted and they just want to give, and it's difficult to receive. So I'm just gonna soft pin that for towards the end. I want to make sure and talk about monetization a little bit more because people should be proud to monetize. And I don't wait till the end to talk about, oh, we got this thing to sell. We talk about how to serve and how to sell and how to get along and talk in an authentic way the whole time. There's no mystery, but what's the end result that we want to have in mind today is we're talking about lives and how to be effective. So that's part of it.
I just want to double emphasize.
Yeah.
Without blowing my own horn, I was a multimillionaire. I don't know how many years before I met Starley. Already big shit, and a lot of people know me around the world and buy stuff for me and everything. But you got to stay humble no matter how successful you are, because when she got a hold of me, she taught me stuff because I was going into her world. Yeah. That's why I quit speaking. If there's any doctors or lawyers on here, I quit speaking to your groups because they're all arrogant a-holes.
No, that's my people, Tom. And by that he means angel.
Yes, angel.
A for angel.
Angel. They just thought they knew everything because they were really good at one other thing.
I get that. I get that. Most of our health and wellness people are actually really heart-centered, but I know exactly what you're talking about. The people that are like,
I'm not talking about health and wellness. I'm talking about the big surgeons and everybody that's making $1 million.
That are in their world, that are stuck in their bubble. They're in their bubble.
You try to give them some advice, but say, I wiped that off the slate. I'll tell you when I learned that, Starley, back in the day when I was first starting speaking.
Yeah.
I was a control freak on my demo tapes. Yeah, you never would have guessed, right? I had 5 different demo tapes with color coordinated VHS covers to them and all this stuff. Yeah, that's how long I've been around.
I pretend like I don't know what that is.
The actual VHS tape, for those of you young people, was actually a plastic box. The plastic was blue and red, and now they're mostly black. Okay. So, and then they never got me one speaking job ever. In fact, they probably lost me speaking jobs. So a guy ended up retiring from Hollywood. His name is Gary Smith, and he happened to live in Washington, D.C., and he was a video editor, nominated for the Winds of War for Emmys, and worked on Star Wars and stuff like that. I mean, the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? This might be a good time for me to get the heck out of it. I just gave him all the footage, and he wasn't any kind of speed demon, but he came out with a demo tape for me. And the first time it was seen, I got $100,000 contact with CBS as a spokesperson.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta get you, and our world is an ego-driven world. You gotta force yourself to get out of that world and turn yourself over to somebody that's their world if you want to success in that world.
Yeah, you know, that's a really great point, Tom. And I remember I was so touched when I've heard you tell the story a bunch of times about like your pilot, and you were really generous and gracious with crediting me in there. And so you're talking to people in Hollywood about a pilot, and you and I are talking behind the scenes. I think I'm either learning at one of your events, and sometimes I got the opportunity to speak at some of your events on my particular area. And I remember when that came up, I was like, oh, okay, so you're going to need a press kit. I was like, oh, that's so excited. Can't wait. Let's do it. So let's get you a few TV appearances, and then we'll do a couple of interviews. We'll just record those. We'll just make sure you have your one sheets. We'll keep it real clean and simple. You don't have to go on a big tour or anything. We'll just tie it up real, just so they have what they need. And you told me, I don't need that. Because you're Mr. very accomplished, and you'd already been purposefully, strategically creating wealth and opportunities, and these revenue streams they didn't all come from some sort of branded situation or a press kit. And I was like, and then you're my mentor. I don't want to challenge you. I'm like,
they
kind of like
you
the
actually
press
punched me in the face and I had a black eye, and you had to sell me makeup, your own makeup line to get it. I think that's when that was.
I would never do that and talk about it. So it's tough for like a really, really accomplished person in their industry, and they don't even have to be a multimillionaire or big influencer like you. Just someone who's really good at their expertise, and they've been really good at it a long time. It's difficult to learn some sort of new packaging of yourself that fits in this other space that you want to be in. So for you, that was a pilot of a TV show. A lot of what I'm helping people package for right now are to get on stage television and podcasts. And so, Tom, some of the things that they're missing are they go crazy with the videos. They really just need a short video clip. Do you want it to be fancy and have an animated intro and a closing, or lower third graphics or transitions or B-roll? That's another discussion for another day. For the very first thing that they want is just to see, do you have the right stuff? Can you hold air for 3 minutes on TV? So they just want to see that for 3 solid minutes. They don't care about your intro or the fancy stuff, but they want to see that video clip of you in the same situation that you're going to be in with them. So if you go and give stage people a clip of you on TV, they go, that's great. Sprinter, I need to see a marathon. I need to see a longer looking clip. And on these one sheets that we help people create, those are different language. Podcasters are thinking in terms of stories or trending or a whole lot of other things. TV people are like, I need headlines, news. The first word in news is new. So they want new. And they like all your fancy little titles too. I'm a world renowned this and that. And anyway, I'm not going to break down each of the three and go on forever, but they do, the one sheets and the clips are different. And there is a system for that. And I'd like to say it's easy and we could just do it all the same way for everyone. But those are three different decision makers and they have three different perspectives for their three different worlds.
Yeah, one size is not going to fit all. So I'm going to shut up now, and I want you to turn it on with all those things that you're going to teach people today. And I'm sure I'll learn something again too, and I'll be taking notes.
Yeah, right. First of all, Tom and shutting up in the same sentence. Okay. But, and then me dazzling.
I'm getting my pen out right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, guys, the way that he and I have been talking right now, you've actually been learning things because our chit chat behind the scenes actually does include tangible things that are usable. But let me back up before the one sheet and before the clip. So we've got a lot of people, Tom, that are amazing at what they do. They're actually my mentors, heroes, teachers, trainers that I love. And a lot of them are go-to experts in wellness, wealth, wisdom. And I love learning from them. And what I've also noticed is when they're on camera, that oftentimes they're unintentionally performing more than being themselves. And I don't blame them at all because look at the examples that they have. They have examples of people who are performing and that are learning from other people who are performing, who are learning from other people who are performing. Oh, but some of them actually hired mentors that are actor coaches or that are former acting role type jobs. A lot of that is performance based. I need this to be purpose, not performance. So if you're authentic and have purpose, that's a great combination. If you're authentic and lost, that can be confusing. So I could be authentic and talk to Tom on this Facebook Live for an hour and not deliver any content or value, especially the things that we already talked about. So I don't have a script in front of me. A lot of times I'll have 3 bullets that say, don't forget to talk about these 3 things because you have muscle memory, right? So what's one of the reasons why they have that challenge of being authentic in front of the camera? Well, a lot of the times it's because they're not in alignment with a mission. So let's say their mission is, I want to help people, but then they have another mission that says, but I'm not a good receiver and I don't want money to the money. In fact, I don't like the way sales closings go with other people because that looks like snake oil. And so I can't sell because selling's bad, but I want to help people. So now you're training yourself to never make any money and to look awkward. In fact, actually, maybe even look untrustworthy once you get to the point that you're actually brave enough to sell something. But if you're in alignment and you say, hey, I'm proud of selling this thing to them because I know it's going to change their life and it's for the better. And you know what? It'll be easy to sell. But if the thing you're selling them, you don't believe in it yourself, well, of course, that's going to be hard. You're going to have imposter syndrome because deep in the back of your heart, you are not in alignment. So make sure that you have your, what do I believe in is the same thing I'm selling. Step 1, lack of weirdness on camera. Now you've got a little bit more authentic. Step 2, a little bit of muscle memory, like rehearsal. People think rehearsal means being inauthentic. There are some words that you tend to talk and hear in your own mind or you teach on a regular basis, and it's okay to be repetitive, right? That's part of your training. Being repetitive and using some of the same words over and over doesn't make you inauthentic, right? My favorite sound bite in the entire world is 3 words. It's I love you. I say it all the time. That doesn't make me inauthentic because it's the millionth time I've said it. So realistically, if you are rehearsing something authentic, you're building muscle memory with your core values. And it's going to make you better in front of any camera or stage. And, you know, not forgetting to be purposeful. Like, hey, why am I here? Am I here to teach, or am I here to, tell them about a product or what have you? You need to be purposeful about what it's about. Not perfect, purposeful. In fact, people like it, you know, with an here and there, or even a little mistake, and they watch you do recovery, because people forgive flaws. They don't forgive fakes. Most of the biggest sales or great connections that I've made is when people got to see how I handled myself in adversity, where I was kind of failing forward with finesse. I give myself the credit of saying the word finesse, but failing forward and trying to, you know, be as gracious as possible, because people like to see authenticity. They like to see you grow. So if you're live on television, if you're live on stage, if you're live on a podcast, and you're learning and growing in front of them, but purposely with a plan, you drop your pencil or you say a couple of times, they're like, wow, that's a real guy or girl. That's a real person. So that part's okay. The part that would make them nervous is if you didn't have some consistency or congruency with the things you promised that you're going to deliver, because that let's start to go, well, wait a minute, I thought we were, you know, you were going to tell me about this or that. So, Tom, do you want to
jump in there? Yeah, I want to jump in there on the rehearsal stuff.
Yes.
And so the way I teach the pro speakers is you take what we call bits, chunks, or series. Those are synonyms for little sections of material.
Yep.
And I have them practice them out loud, because your lips don't always go where your brain's telling it. Like I had the trouble with the word regularly for a long time. So I had to spit it out a lot of times out loud.
Yep.
And so I have them practice out loud while they're doing something else, because there's distractions going on. There's big cables. If you trip over it, you're going to ruin the whole TV station, you know. You know, there's all monitors, there's people running around, you know, there's makeup, you know, all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I have them practice 30 to 50 times. And they say, oh, no, I'll just practice it 10 times. Well, if you just practice it 10 times, you sound robotic. And if you practice it 30 to 50 times out loud with distractions, it all of a sudden turns conversational. It's like magic.
Yeah.
And so and you don't always have to use the same exact words unless it's a specific sound bite or a joke or something, because for instance, a lot of the Toastmasters, they do things word for word. If they forget one word, dead air. I mean, boom.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my 2 cents worth on rehearsal.
Yeah, I know. I love the 2 cents on rehearsal. So so a few good things about that. One of the people that I was at a recent authors event, and one of the interviewers that was there interviewing all of the speakers, we got a chance to speak behind the scenes. And he gave me some of his spiel about, you know, his interview techniques, and I shared some of mine with him right before he was interviewing all these super, you know, cool people. And I actually got to interview this particular guy. And one of the things he said in the interview that I thought was really cool was, I was doing a lot of consistency with rehearsals, but I wasn't doing anything to make me better in rehearsals. So he outed himself and he said, I was doing consistently crap. And it wasn't until so in your method, where you have to kind of do two things at once, it challenges you to grow, which is takes you from, from not good level to, to the better level. And, and
one other thing on that, Starley, is that some of these stories and things I did on stage, I had done 500 times before in front of live audiences.
Yeah, but it didn't sound like it.
No, but the night before, I'm in my hotel room running through them out loud. I'm not yelling real loud because whoever's in the next room thinks this weird stuff's going on. But I'll say them out loud in the hotel room before that speech, even though I had done it 500 times before. Right? It's because there's recency effect and practicing and all that stuff.
It's it's like that just the presence in your energy. Because if you train yourself to I tell a lot of my YouTubers, I've worked with people who have over 1 million followers, And they're like, the editing's killing us, Star. What do I do? The editing's killing us. I was like, well, let me see some of your raw stuff. And I was like, oh, you train yourself to stop. So you're asking for more editing. And so when I trained them for more live, then they shot less footage. It was more impactful, and they saved hundreds of thousands of dollars on their editing. Plus, they were just stressed out. They were getting ready to have these 2 new kids, and it was so. If you train for live, you have less editing, and you're more purposeful. And like
And
you
we're
said,
lucky. We're lucky. The world has changed.
Yeah.
When I first started 40 some years ago or more in doing video production, a jump cut was absolute. You're the worst person. You should throw your camera under the bus, and you're an idiot. Don't ever put a jump cut. Now, if you don't have jump cuts, or things are bam, 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 then you're considered weird. So
Yeah.
you got to move it, and then that actually takes less editing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I just feel like that editing, translation, debt. Editing is great. There's so many incredible things you do with editing. Tom teaches a lot of stuff about AI that saves you editing, which I love. But just, if I can avoid excessive editing, I'd love to do that. Do you think, Tom, that's why I became so strong on live, so I'd never have to edit?
Probably, yeah. and
Maybe it's like a secret desire, a fire back there keeping me going.
Well, I even teach people on my podcast guesting course is that try to work on inaudible breaths. Try to work on no lip smacks, because you're causing me all this extra editing, and I don't want you back. All right. No dead air. Reduce your ums and ahs, but some are okay, but not excessive, So anything you can do to reduce your own editing or make it easier for somebody else, they're going to want you back more often.
Yeah. Now this is I think this is the second time or third time that we've backed up that one bullet where we talked about how do you stay clear and still sound like yourself. And so there's that, but one more thing just to tag onto that, and then we'll go to the next one, is when we try to teach them everything that we know in 60 seconds or 3 minutes, it doesn't even matter what the time frame is, but this is back to being the purposeful. I was guilty of that. I wanted to teach them everything because I was a very generous giver, and I want to help. And, confusing isn't helping. So oftentimes it's better to double down on really making sure that you have taught them that point, even if it's once one way, a second time a different way. But yeah, that's a big temptation for people. I don't want to be concise on camera because I'm somehow going to cheat them of this great information. That's okay. There's another video. Let's continue the relationship of, videos or the online, relationship that you have with them in the community. So that's okay to be concise. I kind of wanted, Tom, just to make sure and hit this point before we get to the end, because we were talking a bit about those one sheets. That's the same thing they do on the one sheet. Does anybody remember their first business card? Does anybody remember a business card? So I think that the first temptation a lot of us want to do is we want to put everything on there, and there's a million words on this little scrap of paper, and people are like, wow, this is this is too much. I just need your name, your title, and a phone number or an email or something like that. Well, it's very similar to a one sheet. In a one sheet, a TV producer or a podcast or someone for stage that's the decision maker, when they're looking for very specific things. So, I hate to say it this way, but when you're a national field producer for television, it's like you want to chew the food for them. It's just what we do. It's less, all of a sudden, Starley's gracious language starts going into fast, language. And that's on the one sheet. Are you putting a lot of extra things that they even care about? Because, Tom, those little icons that shows how many sponsors you've had? Mm-hmm. I know you've had 1 million. And when I see people putting their 7 icons across, it's hard for me not to put the 40 that I have. It's so we've done it before. We used it as wallpaper in the background. It looks like a graphic. I'm like, no, those are my actual street cred. But the ego wants to put it out there. But realistically, you only need to give them what they need to see and what they want to see. And it's hard to edit ourselves on the podcast sheet or the stage one sheet.
Just like the video I just mentioned.
Exactly. That's what
For years, I had stuff that I edited myself. And it cost me millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's 100%. And then people tell me, well, I've been sending my podcast sheets or my TV or stage out to all these decision makers. It's crickets. I'm not hearing anything back. And I'll look at their sheets and it's almost always the same. This sheet isn't even meant for this industry. It's meant for that industry. These are wrong. You have part of these here. I don't care about this if I'm that decision maker. You've now distracted me. And I'm like, next, because I'm getting 300 of these things a day. So it's really just important to know that. Those are the things that we teach in our retreats. And those are the...
Well, no, I'm sorry. It was just almost like the hooks that on videos now for the short hooks. The latest survey said that you have 1.7 seconds to hook the person or they are gone. And if you don't believe me, look at yourself going through reels or stories on Facebook and how fast your thumb is going. Boom, 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 boom. See? So,
100%. And that's how decision makers scan those one sheets. And again, I just want to say, like when we're helping people with those clips, Tom, I have an agency to where, some of our one-to-one longtime people were like, yeah, we'll help you with your animated intro and let's get your lower third graphics and fancy schmancy, expensive video. Long format video is expensive. What you teach in AI, which gives people the power to have, AI edited videos, and a lot of them are going to be a little bit shorter. The longer you get, the more the prompts and things like that. You got to be a little more savvy and learn from Tom in that area. But a lot of these clips don't even need to have the extra. Me, Miss Brand, I'm telling you right now, they didn't even have the branded intro and outro, but they at least had the meat of what they need in that video footage. Even if it's like a 5-minute video, that'll be great. So that's what we're teaching at the retreat in August. We literally are having them create a brand stack. So that gives them the 5 main areas of their brand. Like, remember we talked earlier about what are your core values and what's your business plan? And then it's like, how are you unique and different from all the just add water experts that are out there? They're using AI to look fancier than what they are. Then you have a branded bio and backstory and a dream client. We have all that in one brand stack that you not only can use to feed those 3 one sheets, but you can chunk that one brand stack into AI and go, give me a year's worth of posts. And it, even without a perfect prompt, it's seeing who your audience is, how you talk, what you're in alignment with. It's like the visual girls prompt who didn't know AI, because I came up with that before I knew about AI prompting.
So we promised them. So are these things you just mentioned? It says all the things you need to prepare before pitching yourself for speaking, podcast, or appearance. This is a one sheet.
A one sheet for your brand stack first, because you don't even know what to put in your one sheet about yourself if you don't have your one sheet brand stack. Then your 3 one sheets. Now you don't have to have 3 if you don't want to do all 3. If you just want to do stage, then just the one.
Stage, podcast, and TV.
Yeah, the 3 lives that I'm always prepping people for.
So podcast would be similar to radio.
Podcast very similar to radio. It's a different time length, and it's different in terms of, you really need to know the radio or the podcast audience, and the host does not want you to alienate their audience. And also, since it has a little bit more time, they kind of like the stories, right? And they also want you to not have just one. They'd like you to have, multiple stories. So in your one sheet, we're listing bullets of multiple different stories. Also, they don't mind if you're talking about something that's trending. They like trending. A lot of the podcasters, even if they're in different genres, there's still some stuff that's trending. Now, trending it can be a little different than news, right? So breaking news and trending, there's some subtleties there. So that's one of the things on the podcast one sheets. And on the TV one sheets, we talked a little bit about that before, and it's a little bit more about what's new, that they want the fancy street cred. Hey, we have an author. They love authors, right? So we have an author here who's world-renowned this, or the first one to ever do that, or award-winning this, or whatever, the little fancy stuff that comes before your name. They don't mind that. They like to do intros like that. And they want to see 3 tangible bullets that they think that are, like you said, hold the attention hook. Every single thing on a podcast sheet needs to be a hook. The beginning, the middle, the halfway down, the end. There is, it's not like a stage where you have ups and downs and everything. The whole thing's like, wow, you know,
Yeah,
you can't.
one of my best ones was I couldn't stop the money coming into my checking account if I tried. That was a
I
big one.
know.
I
I
did
love.
that one up in New York, and the producer was like, you know, we don't like to put people on here to BS. And I explained to her the concept of it.
Yeah,
She was ready
right.
to quit her producer job and say, let's do that.
Tom, you quit, recruiting my people, the producers. There'll be no one left to run the shows. So,
All
yeah,
right, so we got the one sheet or
yeah,
multiple one sheets.
uh-huh.
Then what else are you got to have your business idea and
Yeah,
your passion, all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
what else?
So, all right.
Are we talking about a visual demo for the TV on?
Yeah, let's talk a little tiny bit more about the video clips that match the one
Yeah,
sheets.
right,
Okay.
okay, right.
So video clips that match the one sheets. We talked a little bit about that the TV people, they love all the fancy stuff in the beginning and the end and an edited piece, of course, but in the end, all they really care about is can you hold air for,
Mhm.
that 3 minutes the whole time. So they want to see an unedited clip.
Mm,
Because you're not edited on live. Your editor is not standing there while you're on live
right.
TV editing you. So when
No
you
dead air. No
yeah
dead air.
when you edit a clip, oh, dead air. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just had a mini heart attack. Hold on. I'm back. I'm back. Wait, I'm back. Okay. All right. I thought I got fired. Wait, now my reputation. Okay, now I've been blackballed. All right, I'm back. So that this is where people make a huge mistake and they want to send their masterpiece with all the beautiful either AI editing or their video editor editing or whatever. They want to make it fancy. If you can make it a little bit fancy without changing yourself in any way on there, okay. But remember, they're really looking for that. So if you can impress them without that, you could just even give them a plain clip because that's all they really care about. They care about their audience and they care about their job security. And there cannot be any surprises. I've done field producing. You cannot, no surprises because I'd rather just go with this other guy who's giving me way more peace of mind. They chew the food for you. The job's done. Like this is a no-brainer. I'm safe. I'm not getting fired. My audience isn't going to complain. There's a lot of pressure with television and things go really fast and there's no do-overs. All right. So now we're on the stage. What do those video clips need to look like? This is where, again, people make the mistake and they go, well, I don't want to send a long one. Now, you are the master on getting stage appearances. But I will tell you, getting in people's heads about being in the right space when they get on a stage, I do a combination of what I specialize in and what you've taught me as a speaker. So I combine the two. So I have Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san together. And so a lot of the times, Tom, if I lost faith in myself and I was just in my head too much and trying to perform and I was worried about how I was going to look bad in front of the other speakers or the audience, then I wasn't doing as good enough job. And then I'm still trying to listen to the tips that you give me. And so then it's turning performative instead of me being myself. So sometimes I remember in the beginning, I would go out and be, I'd be myself and then I'd be performative and then I'd try to combine the two. And it was challenging for me. So,
That takes practice. And so
30 minutes, that's a long time.
Well, one way that we got away from, because you don't always know on the people that hire speakers if they want the Cliff's Notes or they want the long, because some of them aren't seasoned meeting planners and just where they were a secretary yesterday and they just would say, oh, this guy's good. Okay, great. So what we would do is we'd put a short clip on the beginning telling them, hey, if you want more, a full speech is at the end of this. So they can pick and choose if they are the mindset that they just need the Cliff's Notes or if they want to see the whole thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. I love the fact that we can tell the people that we're talking to tips that they can use right away, strategies that they need to start leaning into, where they can get support. And they're learning from people who are confident but humble and will share the mistakes that they've made in the past and the successes of what worked. So that's one of the reasons why I really love that you came on so we could do this particular live. So thank you. I know your time's super, super valuable.
Well,
And
one other thing I want to make sure that we covered was,
yeah,
yeah, I think you covered this already, but what makes experts, super experts, ramble or freeze? It's because they know too much and they think they're cheating people. Is that
hmm
one
yeah,
of the things?
yeah. It's so it's that's the first part. So we already jump started that tip, but
Mhm. Yeah.
the second part of that, I'll call that A, and then B
Mhm.
would be that they're afraid if they don't use their industry jargon, and if they what they would call in their heads dumb it down, meaning be polite to other human beings that didn't take your same training, that somehow makes them look less able or capable.
Or worried about what their peers will think of them. Yeah, that's.
Exactly.
I got a friend that's 45-year expert in this field and threatening to write a book the whole time, but afraid of what his other friends or colleagues will think of him. Never wrote it.
100%. It's one of the things that you were talking to me, about on stage in some of my earlier training, and I had jargon, and it was the only jargon. Like, hey, this is the call time and the wrap time, and I didn't even know how to. I didn't know how to speak another way, and I wasn't even trying to be, egocentric. I just did 80 to 100 hours a week for over 20. I think at that time it had been over 20 years, 23 or something like that. Now it's been like closer to, well, longer, I'll just say. But I really didn't know how to say things in language that was comfortable for other people. I remember telling even just someone to come to a set one time, a new person. I said, "Hey, well, that's your call time." And he said, "What's that?" I go, "That's your call time. That's your call time." And he says, "What's a call time?" I go, "It's the call. It's the." I was like, "It's a call time." He's just
Yeah, I'm
talking.
going to call you at that
Yeah,
time.
talking louder or slower does not help with the translation. So, yeah, I had to learn another language. Like, oh, well, that's the time that you're scheduled to show up, and often it's based on a padded time as well. So, a series of people showing up at scattered times. It all works in the long run. I didn't know. I was like, it's your call time. I was born on the set. I don't know. So, one of the things that I want to talk about in this tail end here is the love I have for pre-production, and how that works with production and post-production, and how that magically supports our worlds, your world, my world, our combined world. And that's literally what we teach at in fact, our whole entire retreat is a pre-production, production, and post-production.
When is the retreat?
Well, before I say that, I want everybody to know that part of the reason why I have these really amazing retreats is because of Tom. When I was, it's true. It is true. You don't even know. See, that's mentors don't know how they affect people. So that's right, mentor. You just listen. I'm going to tell you.
Okay. All right.
So I'm getting on
boss. Remember,
getting on my getting on my little high spot. So I remember. So coming from, so I'm the little newbie in the big television world, and so I thought, oh, when it's my turn to produce something, I need to produce something that looks like this. Well, kind of forgetting that we can't just copy, like this is what a lot of us do right now, Tom, is we look at influencers' reels or their videos, and we'll say, I'll just copy what they're doing, even though I don't understand the strategy behind it. And so I was accidentally doing that when I first started to create my own productions. I said, well, on the set, we've got a cinematographer, we've got a gaffer, we've got, all the names, right? So I've got all these different...
I'm remembering this.
I've got all these different people, so I need to bring, good 20, 30 people in because I'd been producing. And you're like, it doesn't have to be that complicated. And I'm like, what do you mean? Because that's the training ground I came from. Not to mention, those are $1 million budgets, and maybe I don't need $1 million budget to do a retreat of 10, 20, or 50 people. So even on the scale of being invited to author and speaker conferences to speak on stages, maybe there's 100, maybe there's 1,000 people in an audience. If I'm going to do a retreat, I don't necessarily have to do the 100 or 1,000. So I've been doing these boutique retreats like in penthouses or clubhouses, and they've been going amazing because they were scaled down to a version where, in their high ticket events, but they were scaled down to a version where everybody could be taken over the finish line. And in a high budget retreat, a lot of times it's all built around maybe one person that's getting the biggest benefit, or you're actually hosting a huge speaker seminar or something like that. But these smaller high ticket retreats have given more back to the people that we've helped get to the over the finish line, and they've helped us grow too. So first of all, I want to thank you for that.
I kind of remember a long time ago
He's like,
telling me all these people you're going to hit, and I'm thinking, for what? And
what?
how much
I
you going
thought,
to
well,
pay these people?
I know these people. I can get them there. Yeah, but it's like it's an enormous expense to produce at that level when your whole goal is just to teach a certain number of people. You don't have to have that huge, $1 million production or whatever, this high dollar production. So, but pre-production, production, and post-production is in everything that we all do. It's in marketing. It's in your entrepreneurialism. It's in our event coming up. But we have a crazy event structure, Tom. Oh gosh, it's the first time I'm telling him, so he's gonna like give me criticism. I know, like on my Facebook Live. All right.
No, I'm gonna mute myself, right?
Okay, good. Mute. Tom's muting. So our pre-production for the retreat, we actually do one-on-one onboarding session. That's where I take that brand stack and they answer a 47 questionnaire, an interview questionnaire. I take their answers and I create a brand stack. I use that brand stack to create their 3 one-sheets. And then when they go to the event, we shoot those 3 little video clips. While they're at the event, they're actually shooting in a incredible facility in a penthouse. So we not only have 3 little video sets, but we also have the penthouse, and we're on the grounds of the Pearl in San Antonio, which is an iconic district of like every way you turn, there's either a river walk or there's trees or architecture. It's incredible. So even on their breaks, they're out there with their selfie stick shooting. And
I got another thing I want to throw in.
Yeah.
You just mentioned there's 3 sets in this place that you're going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starley came to my studio and made 5 sets out of one room. All right. This is something you will learn, is how to shoot gorgeous stuff in the tiniest places. I mean, we have a pretty big studio over there, but I never dreamed 5 sets were there. And she just did. Boom, boom, boom. There's 5 sets. The camera was in the middle and could film all the sets.
Yeah, we do answer.
You'll see that when you get there. It was just worth the value of the cost of admission.
Totally. The location does have all those sets, but Tom, even for people, I want to give to people who are not going to the retreat too. Like, so on this side, all of these are on rollers. They're on casters. And if I turn them around, one of them has a blue screen. Another one has a Starley Murray Live neon sign on it. Back there, those curtains that you see up there, if I peel the curtains back, there's whiteboards. So I can teach on whiteboards. And over there is a makeup, hair, wardrobe little area that I can cover the whole thing just by pulling the white curtain over it, and it doesn't even show. And then I have the same thing where I can teach authors, and those backdrops all turn around. So
where's my picture?
The
little statue of me you have in there.
With the shrine. Oh, we had
Yeah,
to have
the shrine, yeah.
we had to have a whole nother room for the shrine
Next
because
to Hello Kitty, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all the Hello Kitties and all the Tom merch is in there and that's where we go in to do all the, throwing the rose petals and everything. So that's a whole nother production room. Instead of the green room, we'll call it the pink room. So sorry, Tom, you're in the pink room. So, but yeah, I love that. During the pandemic, I said, wow, I'm going to go crazy being in this room. I'm used to being in studios. Where's my lights? Where's my, I didn't realize that some of these visual prop things actually help to kind of stimulate my mind when I'm like creating scripts or helping people with their brands. But yeah, so that's what's happening at that location at Hotel Emma. If anybody just like looks at Hotel Emma and they look up the penthouse, they can see how incredible it is. It's like, you just see it online. And if they look at the Pearl, they can see the grounds. But Twig, the most iconic bookstore, legendary in San Antonio, has partnered with us. And so they're one of our collaborative partners at the event. And they said, yeah, bring your authors over. We can do some selfies. Let's talk to them. And so even if their book's not in their bookstore, we at least, they're partners in our event. So we can at least have some fun. And our 5 speakers actually are all publicity people specific to media. We have an assignments director from a CBS affiliate talking about how to do press releases to get coverage at a book signing. We have one of the representatives from the bookstore coming over and saying, this is how you get into bookstores like us and do book signings or events or readings. We have a girl that's been on television almost every single month for 10 years, who does book reviews, and she's there teaching that as well as doing some of our interviews. 11 years ago, I was her coach. And we have people that do podcast show hosts, but they're all television and publishing, book, author, speaker type people. And they're there not so people can go travel thousands of miles to sit hundreds of feet away from people that they can't even they can't ask 3 questions to. They're all there actually to be part of the coaching and the training. And they are there because we're all industry, buddies.
So now I'm getting upset.
Uh-oh.
So I just don't recall one of my favorite mentees of all time asking me to be part of this. I just can't read. Did I miss that or something? So I'm going to force my way into this.
Come on in.
In that after the fact, I will do a Zoom call with any of your folks.
Oh, wow.
And teach them the highest level podcast guesting they can imagine.
No way.
I have a course on this. It costs $500-$600.
I've seen it.
But it's all the little tricks of the trade that makes the host think you are the second coming. You're the best guest we've ever had. You've done stuff that none of the other guests have. The other guests just suck off our audience and then blow us off. And I'm going to show you every trick that makes you the greatest guest you could ever be on a podcast. So
I love that, Tom. That's so generous.
It's not for you. I'm just upset.
No, I've seen it too late. I've seen it and it's really good. It's really good. I still learn from that. I love that one. It's amazing. That's a really generous offer. Yes, the speakers that are at this one all work in television or the book world. They're not the publicity of the online world, but you technically from the stage world, you should be miffed. You should be there. So, but maybe this is my way of getting you come to the next one, because the next one is more specifically deep dives in these worlds, like just podcasts or just television, and we'll take advantage. I mean, we'll make sure to invite our dear friend and mentor. We take advantage of our friends and say, you got to come out here. We'll guilt them. We'll bribe them. Whatever it is that we got to do, Tom. We'll have Hello Kitty.
So one question I want to clarify.
All right,
this 47 question thing. This is done in advance, right? Yeah,
this is the pre-production, Tom, because how do I have an event of 10 that's done in 2 days where we're shooting 2? If I have the secret sauce there is in the pre-production, which means
it's your pre-production and theirs too, because it's done before they get there. So they have time to think of the answers of these 47 questions.
It's got to be it's got to be a few weeks before. So if the event is August 21st, then
they better get on it then.
We don't want them doing their answers. In fact, we're actually doing a shut-off window for 2 weeks before the event, because the 2 weeks before we're in total pay it forward, got to finish we do personalized binders for them. They have a gift bag with books. I wonder if I know any authors who might put a book in the book bag, Screw the Commute or something.
I don't know any.
Do you know an author that has a thing called, because there's one I heard.
Any authors.
Do you know an author? Do you know a Tom Antion author?
I never heard of him.
Oh, so we're not going to be able to get him to we can't get him to put a book in our book bag.
It'll probably be on a thumb drive.
Okay, that sounds good. So I just kept asking folks until I got it. So you see what I do to get free stuff for y'all? Thank you, by the way. Adriana says, woohoo, I'm going to hold you to that, Tom. So Adriana Vela, woohoo, baby. She's amazing. She's coming to the event, and she 100% is going to hold you to that. In fact, Tom, she does some books on AI, and she's been wanting to meet you for a while. So I'm going to connect you guys for sure. Also, by the way, earlier you're on your team, Larry said, heck yeah, that's right. So he was, when you were talking about him, so I just had to give a shout out for some of the people. But yeah, Tom, thank you for providing that value for them. And I think we covered quite a few of the things that we said that we're going to cover.
For this shindig?
Oh,
there's only 10 slots, right?
Now I know why you are so talkative, ma'am. Ha ha ha, like your mentor, the students that match. I wonder who wrote that.
Yeah.
Was that from Adriana or was that from my team? I think that was from my own team, Tom. Okay, I love my team.
No dead air.
Yeah. How do you show up for? Oh, we'll put a link below. But Tom, this is really about the last best week that people are getting those best airline prices if they're from out of town. And the next week is still a decent price for that.
They should hitchhike to this thing. I mean, you can't get a chance to be in front of you. You know?
Oh, that wasn't biased at all. Thank you so much. I'll take it. But I will say, I'm not sure, Tom, if we're ever going to do an event like this again because the pre-production, it's not like a sales tactic, me saying that. We may not do one like this again. I plan to, by the end of the year, launch my own podcast show. I have to finish all of Tom's training first. And then I want to make sure and utilize a lot of the, content that we have from this event at the podcast. So people are going to kind of live on in the post-production as well. But yeah, we'll put the link below and then I'm going to see if there's any questions before we hang up. Mostly we're doing replays here, but we did get some lives and people are texting me too. Wow, I have given my number to too many people over these years. You're supposed to use the chat, not my phone.
No, that was me. I said, I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, Tom's like, hey, yeah, our 1 hour thing was over like 10 minutes ago. Well, Tom, I just wanted to say thank you so much. We're definitely going to take you up on your generous offer. And it's just such a pure pleasure to get to work with someone that's not just my mentor, but my dear friend. Thank you for being so gracious and generous about sharing any of the value that I've ever shared with you, because that's a huge deal. When you're the mentee, when you're the student and you hear praise back, oh, that's like
You're the boss, like I said.
That's all the Hello Kitties.
You remember that? I was on the set with you the first time, and you were just giving me all this stuff, and I'm like, "You're the boss. Just tell me what to do. I don't need the details. Just."
I know. It's like you should get right to the point. I know, and then I did, and we're still friends somehow. All right. Well, Tom, I think we're going to say in the business, we're going to go.
That's a wrap. Right?
We're going to say that's a wrap.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
See you later, everybody.
Bye, Tom. Bye.